Let us start with, I have two very little books, they're very fabulous. This is John Clare, and it's called First Sight of Spring. The hazel blooms in threads of crimson hue, peep through the swelling buds and look for spring. Ere yet a while thorn leaf appears in view, or March finds throstles pleased enough to sing. On the old touchwood tree woodpeckers cling, a moment and their harsh-toned notes renew. In happier mood, the stock dove claps his wings. The squirrel sputters up a powered oak, with tail cocked or head and ears erect. Startled, there we've got that word again. We were talking about done, and there he is. I'll go back. The squirrel sputters up the powdered oak, with tail cocked o'er his head and ears erect, startled to hear the woodman's understroke, and with the courage that his fears collect. He hisses fierce, half malice and half glee, leaping from branch to branch about the tree, in winter foliage, moss and lichens dressed.
Wow, It is gorgeous, isn't it?
Amazing first line.
I heard 1,000 blended notes, while in a grove I sat reclined, in that sweet mood when pleasant thoughts bring sad thoughts to mind. To her fair works did nature link the human soul that through me ran, and much it grieved my heart to think what man has made of man. Through primrose tufts in that green bower the periwinkle trailed its wreaths, and 'tis my faith that every flower enjoys the air it breathes. The birds around me hopped and played, their thoughts I cannot measure, but the least motion which they made, it seemed a thrill of pleasure. The budding twigs spread out their fan to catch the breezy air, and I must think, do all I can, that there was pleasure there. If this belief from heaven sent, if such be nature's holy plan, have I not reason to lament what man has made of man?
Awesome.
Well, isn't that
so many awesome bits?
Immense. Wow.
That opening line,
Yeah.
I heard 1,000 blended notes.
Yes.
Isn't
it just incredible? And actually it took you to say, I love that first line, to make me go back to it and think, actually, you're dead right. Which is one of the beautiful things about doing poetry in community.
But this one, Edward Thomas, is also about spring, and particularly early spring. It's called But These Things Also. But these things also are springs. On banks by the roadside, the grass, long dead, that is greyer now than all the winter it was. The shell of a little snail bleached in the grass, chip of flint and mite of chalk, and the small bird's dung in splashes of purest white. All the white things a man mistakes for earliest violets, who seeks through winter's ruins something to pay winter's debts. While the north blows and starling flocks by chattering on and on keep their spirits up in the mist, and spring's here. Winter's not gone.
Spring by Christina Rossetti. Frost locked all the winter, seeds and roots and stones of fruits, what shall make their sap ascend, that they may put forth shoots? Tips of tender green, leaf or blade or sheath, telling of the hidden life that breaks forth underneath, life nursed in its grave by death. Blows the thaw wind pleasantly, drips the soaking rain, by fits look down the waking sun. Young grass springs on the plain, young leaves clothe early hedgerow trees. Seeds and roots and stones of fruits, swollen with sap, put forth their shoots. Curled-headed ferns sprout in the lane, birds sing and pair again. There is no time like spring, when life's alive in everything. Before new nestlings sing, before cleft swallows speed their journey back along the trackless track, God guides their wing. He spreads their table that they nothing lack. Before the daisy grows a common flower, before the sun has power to scorch the world up in his noontide hour, there is no time like spring that passes by. There is no life like spring life, born to die, piercing the sod, clothing the uncouth clod, hatched in the nest, fledged on the windy bough, strong on the wind. There is no time like spring that passes by, now newly born, and now hastening to die. You just got to be in awe of that. And not the reading, but in awe of that.
The reading was pretty good.
Well, that's nicely. Andrew, we're done for this edition of the Poetry Podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. I have really enjoyed. Have you enjoyed it, Andrew?
It's been very spring-like.
It's been very spring-like,
welcome,
and it's been very. I feel very passionate now about the prospect of looking around and seeing what I can see that I might well capture as my own perception of this season.
Seeds and shoots and
particularly, sorry to interrupt you, but at this time, as you were just saying, you know, when I was a child, I was looking the other day on Facebook, there was somebody had posted up a collection of the Ladybird books, which you might remember, and Fiona probably doesn't.
What to look for in spring?
What to look for in spring?
I have what to look for in spring.
Have you?
I've got the 4 of them.
And then there was what to look for in winter and autumn and summer.
They're beautiful.
And you knew where you were.
You did, yes.
We could close one book and open another.
Mm-hmm. I've got
the old ones. Can't do that now.
I've got the old. They've redone them, and the redone ones are just as lovely. Different, but lovely.
But what would we be able now, viewer? Perhaps you might join us on this contemplation, and you know what would. And if you, viewer, also want to come on and read a poem that you would like, we would love you so to do. Mm-hmm. But for now, from Andrew and myself, goodbye.